We begin today chapter 32. Chapter 32 in Hebrew is Lamed Beis. Lamed is 30, Beis is 2. And it spells the word Lev, which means heart. The heart of Tanya right now. In one word, this chapter, L'Recha, speaking about joy in the previous chapter. And we continue with this concept. We spoke about dealing with your stuff brings you to joy. Identifying with your godly soul, as opposed to your animal soul, and dealing with it. Identifying with it, that's your true nature. That brings joy. That is something of joy. And to extricate it from its imprisonment, the divine soul, that also is a great joy. And that brings us now to the heart of Tanya. So the Alter Rebbe, it's actually like 2 lines here in today's class. It's extremely short. So like acting on everything that we spoke about previously, that you view your body, its agenda, not the physical body. You have to do everything to preserve the physical body, right? It, after all, is houses, is the it's the palace. It houses our soul. So we need, of course, to take care of it appropriately. However, the agenda of the body is something to have contempt for, scorn. Right? Its attempt is to derail us from doing what God needs from us. But at the same time, I have contempt for that, but I have joy for the soul, which is the real me, the deeper me, the more profound me. I have joy in that. When we have that appropriate, then this is, the Alter Rebbe says, a direct and easy path to fulfilling the mitzvah in the Torah that it says, that you should love your reacha, your friend, your fellow, your friend, literally, as yourself. As the Talmud tells us, the sages in Talmud tell us, that refers to a fellow Jew as yourself. And that's it. Let's unpack this. We are commanded to love a fellow Jew as yourself? First of all, how can you command love? You can't command love. Either you feel the love or you don't feel the love. But to command it, what does that mean? And secondly, how could you love somebody as yourself? Self-love dictates that we would love ourselves more than anybody else. And that's normal, that's natural. So what does it mean to be able to love as yourself? How do we understand that? That's a very unique stature. And as the Alter Rebbe says, to love every Jew, both great and small, in their spiritual stature. So you're not loving them for their spiritual stature because you're loving them equally. So it must be something greater than their spiritual stature, which that itself is a question. What do you mean? Don't you love somebody for their spiritual stature? In other words, a good person, a great person, a humble person who does so much good for others? Don't you love that? So, what does this mean? How do we understand this? And why is it that if I find joy in my soul and have contempt for the agenda of my body, the agenda, you're not contempt for the body, right? We don't not allowed to hurt your body. You're not allowed to, be negative. But the agenda, that is something that we spoke about in chapters 29 and 30, raging against the nature of that body, to subjugate it, to crush its nature. So we spoke about that at great length. But the question is, why is it that if I have joy, great joy in my soul, and look down on my body, then I could love another as myself? That's the question. We're not going to get an answer today, because that will be tomorrow's class, and the day after. Very profound and deep stuff that we will get into. But let's get into some questions here now. But they need to. They will have to be questions that will not, divulge everything that's forthcoming. Sorry, because I can't give tomorrow's class today. You know why? Because today's today and tomorrow's tomorrow. God gives a specific divine energy to animate today and today's teachings. So therefore we stay within that animated life of the day, and not an animated life that doesn't belong today, which was something that we spoke about at great length last night in the JLI course, which was phenomenal. At least I enjoyed it immensely. 2 question marks before you ask a question. Lori, the Jewish people, what is the question? Did I miss something? I don't know what I missed. I don't see. Lori, please help me there. Any other questions? Michelle. Yes, Michelle, please share.
Hi, Rabbi. Hi, everyone.
Hello. Welcome.
I couldn't quite grasp the last question you asked the room. And you said we'll be discussing the answer tomorrow. Could you please say it again, Rabbi?
The question?
Yes, the actual question.
Well, there are a few questions. One is, how do you command love? Secondly, love is, you can't command love. You can command someone to do something. Please bring me a glass of water, right? Or command a person to bring you a glass of water. You can command, right? Because it's an action. Action could be commanded, but a feeling can't be commanded. Either you have the feeling or you don't have the feeling. How could you command the feeling? That's the question, right? That's one question. Second question is, what does it mean as yourself? How could you love somebody as yourself? You can maybe love them, but what does it mean as yourself? How is that possible? And why is that contingent on that you scorn the agenda of the body and you have great joy over the soul? Why is that the prerequisite? So all that will be answered tomorrow. Those questions. Is that clearer now?
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're very welcome. Asher, often Israel is translated as Jew. Can you address that and explain? Well, Israel is because Bnei Israel, we are the children of Israel, which refers to Jacob, right? Jacob's 12 sons are the 12 tribes. So we become the children of Israel in a literal sense of Israel, meaning Jacob, who was given another name, Israel, and the word Jew comes from Yehuda, because most of the Jews, after the 10 tribes were dispersed, came from Yehuda. So in Judah and Samaria, right? So that's where the name Jew comes from. Okay. I hope that was clear. Lori, the Jewish people are united as one soul. Yes. Yeah, we'll get more into that. Yeah, Hillel, we'll be discussing Hillel shortly, right? We will get there, God willing. Okay. Marcy, please join, and Michael.
So Rabbi, when you were talking about, how do you command love, I was thinking about the Benjamin Franklin effect and all of the little psychological tricks that I use on myself to subtly manipulate me, and thinking how I also use them to apply to other people so that I like them better than just the plain who they show me they are. And the Benjamin Franklin effect, if you are not familiar with it, I can just briefly discuss it.
Go ahead.
So there was in Benjamin Franklin's time in Boston, there was a guy that he did not get along with. And the other guy would badmouth Ben Franklin every chance he got, and they would fight over everything. And Benjamin decided he needed a way to win this guy over. So what he did was he borrowed a book from him. And, you're the only one in town who has this book, and I need it. And, and he returned it in a week. Many profuse thanks, and then borrowed another book. And then by the third or fourth book, the guy had forgotten that he didn't like Franklin because he kept lending him books. Why would I lend books to a guy I don't like? And so he kind of forgot how much he disliked him and started liking him. And at least not saying terrible things about him all the time.
Right.
And so, we kind of use these same tricks every day. Like if you're feeling, really depressed, if I'm feeling really depressed, my natural inclination is to reach for clothing that's like black or gray. And sometimes I will say, you know what, I'm going to wear pink today, or red, or something blue, bright blue.
Right.
To kind of subtly pull myself out of that gray mood.
Right.
And so I was kind of thinking about those kind of tricks.
Very good. So, yeah, that's one of the ways is that when you, exactly like you said, when you do an act of kindness towards another, and if you do it repeatedly, you're going to feel different towards that person. Ultimately, you're going to feel, something positive towards them because of the acts of kindness that you're doing. Exactly. The Alter Rebbe is coming here in our discussion from a different place, though. He's coming not, as we will see, actually, not so much from just do the action that will bring the love or bring the connection or bring the compassion or whatever, but coming from having a different mindset, a different perspective, how we perceive ourselves and how we perceive others, fellow Jew in particular, as a result. So it's working from the other direction, but what you're saying is of value that sometimes that's what we need to do in a practical manner. But yes, thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Now that you mentioned about Benjamin Franklin, that story it jarred my memory and hearing it before. Thank you. Michael.
Hello. First, I want to please everyone that we provide money for the community, Chabad will pray into Ukraine and don't leave, and we'll build out of the synagogue shelters for the people and provide food. And Chabad Ukraine and Untitled Chapter asks for that the community spends money there because they needed it to protect our people. And that's now my question. When our soul and when our animal soul stays here and our godly soul gets elevated from the mitzvah we do, is the same principle like the captured prince who went into prison and went out and was dirty and went to his father who represented God. That sounds in the analogy nice, but our animal soul stays always here. And as much as we elevate our soul, the godly soul, we come always back to the same status like before. Is this the actual lesson that we should accept, that the animal soul will never change, and that we can only reach true happiness through breaking out of it every day again?
So the animal soul, even by obeying any, is always there. Becomes a little more refined over time, but it's still an animal, self-centered soul, right? It's not the righteous person. The tzaddik has transformed it and doesn't have anything about them. A complete righteous person doesn't have anything about them that is self-absorbed, self-centered. Not an iota in their heart, let alone in their behavior. But you and I and the rest of us, BIT, Bainani in training, yes, we have it, but, think about it. A child, its animal soul, its self-centeredness is, in a very childish manner. You grow up, and instead of wanting candy, so now you want, maybe a nice car instead of, a nice toy. The toys become a little more formidable or more, advanced, shall we say. But it's in the same thing. It's the same idea. And it could be a greater refinement, though, in that. It's possible. Again, if we work on ourselves, then there'll be a refinement of the animal soul. So it won't be the same quality. By the way, but the child and that was just a metaphor. That was not refinement of the animal soul. That the child wants a toy and the adult wants a bigger toy is not a refinement of the animal soul. Actually, it's a greater depravement of the animal soul, right? That the animal soul wants to do good. That's a refinement. That's a refinement. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. On Instagram, I want to go because there's some questions on Instagram. Are there contingencies of loving your fellow Jew? Oh, good questions. What if the person's a Russia? Are you commanded to love a wicked Jew? Excellent question. Next couple of days, we're going to be dealing with that. No answers today. We need Mashiach now. Yes, absolutely. But strategic exec. I think you got a better name than that, I'm sure. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's just that's a real nice executive name. Okay. I'm going to end off the class with an email that I got, or actually, a note that I got from Rachel from South Carolina. She said I could, mention from her, from Instagram. And from time to time, if you send me something, I would like to share it with others on your thoughts and feelings about, learning Tanya and about most importantly, about how it helps you in your life. So, Shalom Rabbi, hoping that you're having a wonderful day today. I have found two amazing aspects of transformation in the enlightenment of the Tanya. First, I find practical ways to daily overcome my evil inclination and find joy in serving Hashem. This has truly helped to transform my outlook on life. Another way that Tanya has helped enable me to push past my comfort zone and help me see every challenge I encounter as an opportunity to empower myself and others through the encouragement towards holiness. I have so much to learn, but I'm very excited for this journey. Rachel from South Carolina. Thank you for sharing that. If anybody does have and want to private message me, direct message me, or email me, whatever the case may be, with your thoughts, and you don't mind me to share, I can share it with your name or without your name, whatever suits whatever you're comfortable with, or maybe whatever you're comfortable to go out of your comfort zone. In any case, may Hashem grant may Hashem grant that there should be healing in the world, peace, and no conflict. The only conflict that there should be is an inner conflict, as we spoke about today, between the body and the soul. That the body, there's a contempt to its agenda, and the soul, there's a great joy to identify and to extricate it from its imprisonment. And that's a struggle. That's an inner conflict. Because, often we just enjoy the pleasure that comes from the body and the sense of fulfillment that comes from that part of our being. And that's our struggle. And more on that tomorrow. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadesh, Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all for joining. Be well. Thank you, folks. As always, amazing. All right, I hope I got everybody here. I think I dealt with Alice's question. I hope I did. Oh. Thank you, Mama Cooks. Beautiful. God bless you all. Great day. Many of you, I don't have a contact with you. Please direct message me with your name. If you want to give me your email, so I can also get you the information of different things that we're doing, upcoming things, that would be wonderful. Many of you I do have, many of you I don't have that information. And just on Instagram, it's harder to know who you're dealing with in the connection. So if you got something to share, as Rachel has, please do share it. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Right in the middle of the fighting. Matthew, tell us what